Ladies and gentlemen, we are filming here on Monday, August 25th, for our last show in August, Wednesday, August 27th. Hard to believe, but
It's hard to believe that August is almost over.
You're right. Everybody's back in school now, but there's a lot of good stuff happening in sports. There's a lot to talk about. But it is Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you know what that means.
10-cent beer night.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. The official sports show of Fifth Dimension Radio.com every Wednesday, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time here at the Fifth Dimension Studios in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. I'm Seth, and of course, Bob's here, and which we're glad is the second straight week after him.
I'll be around for a while.
Yeah, he's going to be around.
I might miss the sometime September show because I think we're due on a day that I have to see my doctor. So
Right. Do what you got to do. But until then, there's a lot to talk about, including recently we had our first broadcast of high school football between Waterloo and Springfield. And Bob, you were there. You were saying it was a game.
It was a good game. It was a really good. A lot of offense. And it was a great start for our football here on Fifth Dimension Radio.
Right. Great start for both new coaches, even the one that lost. They lost by, what was it, a little, like 3 points, was it?
Yeah, it's 3 points, 3 or 4 points. It wasn't much.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It was a close game. I can't remember the final score. It was like, what was it, 44, 38 or something like that. It was a lot of offense.
Right. Absolutely. And then our player of the game was actually on the losing side, but he carried the team.
Oh, he scored 5 touchdowns. He ran for 4 and passed for 1.
Right. He was running back and quarterback, and the kid kept him in the game there. Springfield won at home, so congratulations, Springfield, there on a good start. But Waterloo, I mean, as long as they can keep it close, they could get some more wins than last year too. So I mean,
one thing about Waterloo, and the coach, got to give a lot of credit to the coach Brode there at Waterloo, because he only had 16 players dressed.
Right.
So I mean, so a lot of guys were playing two both ways, and of course I think Springfield went out there with over 40 players dressed. So
right.
So he had but Waterloo really for the amount of numbers of kids they had on the field, really played a great game.
Right.
Really played a great game. And got hats off to Coach Brode over there at Waterloo.
Absolutely. And I've been there too. I've been on soccer teams that had only 9 players and sometimes 7 during the game. So not having substitutes or not much of any, that makes a big impact. So the fact they hung in there with what they had was impressive there. So.
And I think, if I remember right, Waterloo started 4 freshmen.
There you go.
4 freshmen. So it was like I said, really good output by Waterloo, and also Springfield. Springfield scored 44 points. That was the total amount of points they scored all of last year.
So they're ahead of the game.
They're ahead of the game already. So.
That's crazy. So yeah, and so they're much better now. So we'll see Springfield again, I believe, on the schedule.
The last game of the season, the Woodridge Bulldogs take on Springfield at Springfield. So we'll see them again. So
we'll see them again there. So Waterloo we won't be seeing again, but we wish them all the best. We do want to quickly talk about the next game, which is this Friday. It will be the Stowe Bulldogs versus the Barberton Magics. Yes. So there you go. We're in Barberton. And I guess both teams are 0-1 to start the season. The Bulldogs had a good game against Medina, fell short. And then Barberton was not very good.
Barberton played a very, very good Wadsworth team in the opener. And Wadsworth is probably in northeastern Ohio. They should be one of the top teams in northeastern Ohio, rated up in the top 10. Easy. So...
Right, absolutely. Key players to watch at least for Stowe that I picked up. Stowe had a lot of returning 14 starters from the previous season under Martin Potter. You have Jake Harrington, the senior quarterback. Jeremy Turner, the wide receiver defensive back. He's also a senior. Senior Andrew Rickelman, tight end and defensive lineman. Senior Dalen Keeling, wide receiver. And then junior safety and running back Caden Boyd, who are all returning and are... highlighted as some of the top players there on Stowe. So looking for that. So we're probably looking at, if we give a prediction here, Stowe is probably going to have a solid game here. The way they hung in with Medina, and we're going to probably think that Barberton's probably going to lose at home on paper. Now they are at home, so there might be some of that home mojo flowing through their veins.
It'll be their first home game. Of course, like I said, this is only the second game of the season, so
right.
So it's going to be a good game. Barberton usually puts out a decent team.
Right.
So in the last couple of years, they've had a pretty good team over there with Coach. God, I can't think of his name. Grody. I think it's Gotti or something like that. And so we're looking forward to it. I know I talked to the AD. We're all set for Friday night. So Friday night football, high school football here on Fifth Dimension Radio. You'll get to see the broadcast, replay, and video on our YouTube channel, Fifth Dimension Radio, Fifth Dimension Radio, 10-cent beer night. Probably be late Saturday night or Sunday, but you'll be able to watch the video replay and stuff of the game and hear the audio of the game. So make sure you tune in. If you don't get a chance to get to the game or tune in on Friday night, go to our YouTube channel either Saturday night or Sunday morning, and it'll be there, and you'll be able to listen to the game and see the video.
There you go. Here's an update on Barberton Magics here. I did pull that up here, and that's Tony Gatto, the head coach. He's actually offensive coordinator, too, for the team this year. I guess that's new.
Yeah.
He's going to be calling plays there. They went 2-8 last year, but they said 16 returning lettermen. So that's a big deal. So they're expected to do better this year. But key players, Jason Moody, junior offensive tackle, defensive tackle. He transferred from Hoban. So they're hoping a lot from him. This guy, this guy sounds tough here. Senior quarterback and linebacker, Braden Loke. So, I mean, if you can play quarterback and linebacker, that's impressive. You must be a tough kid there. Noah Wright and Davion Ingle, they're both sophomore wide receivers and defensive backs. Again, they're sophomores, but they're seeing a lot of talent between these two kids here. And then two-way linemen between Rico Varner and Bryce Crow, playing both sides of the ball there. And it always starts at the front, like we said, so those are two kids to watch out for, too, for Barberton there. So it should be a fun game. We'll see what happens. Both teams coming off a loss, so both are going to be hungry for a win. So looking forward to that.
Should be a good game. And should be a good game.
Yeah, and we appreciate all the positive feedback. We've had a lot of people reach out to Bob, and a lot of people comment and everything, and they really like the broadcast there. And advertising spots are still open for anybody interested there locally. And so that's something to look forward to there this Friday as Fifth Dimension Radio heads to Barberton for that game. So looking very forward to that. Switching gears now, we got to talk about baseball. We're entering almost in September, and this was a week to forget for the Guardians.
I'm going to say it's over.
It's over? You're writing them off?
I'm writing them off. I'm writing them off. I don't know. Yeah. I know.
This is going to be interesting because there's two ways I'm looking at it as far as what Bob's reaction goes and everything. We still have a full month, one. Two, they have the third easiest schedule left in baseball, and this is the second bad week in the past couple.
I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Right.
I'm hoping they can get to that third wild card spot.
Right.
But I as of right now, after what I've seen these past five games, we'll say, I think it's done.
All right. They went 1-5 of the week, so that's right. 1-3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Their loss that series got swept by the Rangers in back-to-back shutouts. 10-0 on Saturday, 5-0 on Sunday. It's just been.
It goes to show you there's no hitting.
Right. And they're now 64-65, third in the AL Central now, so they fell behind 500 there. This is the other part too I want to mention is last year this team really hit a stride late in the season. I mean, they had a great start which helped, but then late in the season they won some key series that really helped get over the hump, clinch their playoff spot, and the rest is history there. This is only of Steve Vogt's second season with the team. The one luxury they had with Tito Francona was they were always the best team in September.
Right.
And that was something that really helped them gain their playoff chances because they didn't go to the playoffs all the time with Tito, but most of the time they did. And this is where it's going to be Vogt's biggest test yet take what you have and see how you're going to win September. Again, they got one of the easiest schedules left on
paper.
On paper, yeah. So we'll see what happens. So this week, as we're talking, they've actually wrapped up this. Not as we're talking now, but as you're listening to this, they wrapped up the series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, we don't know how that's going to look right now, and you folks at home do now. Rays are wishy-washy. They had great first half of the season, and then they've kind of dipped. They did win the series against St. Louis over the weekend, but this is going to be interesting because when it came to the Rays, especially the Tio Francona era, they had Kevin Cash's number. Because Cash has a similar style of Francona, and they knew what he was going to do. It's almost similar system. I would say the Rays have better prospects now than Cleveland does at this point. And they've called up a couple since. But it's been like pitching was a strong point along with some good hitting. And now Cleveland's going in. The hitting's not looking great. The pitching's so inconsistent. And you got a Rays team that's also just not playing up to par to what we know how they can. So this one, I mean, I'm going to say they could win this series. But of late, how we looked at last week, especially with a struggling Diamondbacks team and a good Rangers team, I'm not going to just assume they're going to win this series at the same time. And they're away. They're at Tampa Bay.
They're at Tampa Bay.
Which is technically, for those that don't know, oh, excuse me. No, they're at Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, they're
Cleveland
in Cleveland
this week. So
yeah.
I'll take that. So a little stronger chance Cleveland wins this series. After Tampa Bay, this work gets a little tougher. They're playing Seattle, who's playing overall good ball right now. Kyle Riley.
And they're in a run for a wild card spot.
Yeah. I mean, they're in the run still for the division. And they've played very well of late. Key television dates for this. You have MLB Network picked up the last Rays game. Again, it'll be over by the time they hear this. MLB Network has picked up the first Mariners game. Fox is going to broadcast Saturday night's game in Cleveland. So they're going to be on national TV there against the Mariners. But this Mariners team here,
I know they're in the run for the wild card spot.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they're in the run for the division, but I'm shooting for the wild card stuff right now because especially like in our division with Detroit's pretty much got it handled.
Yeah.
They're pretty much got it clinched.
Detroit's the top team in the league again. Mariners are 70-61. Last week they got swept by the Phillies, but they took 2 out of 3 against the A's. And then they have the Padres coming up before the Guards, and that's going to be a tough matchup for them too. So looking here at the standings here, you got, again, Detroit 78-54, Blue Jays 76-55, and Astros 72-59. So yeah, Seattle's only a game back behind Astros at this point. So they're very much in the conversation. If at the end of the day, the wild card would be Red Sox at 71 wins, Yankees at 70, and Mariners at 70. Behind them, 3 games behind them, Kansas City Royals 67-64. Again, I told you Royals, again, similar to last year, all of a sudden they're playing better as the schedule is coming to the end. Rangers 66-66, 4.5 games back. Guards are 5 games back. Rays are 6.5 games back, so if Rays want to stay relevant in the conversation, they do have to beat the Guards there. In the National League, we have, for leaders, Brewers at 81-50. I'm trying to figure out how Tigers got first in the power rankings. The Brewers deserve to be first right now. Then you got the Phillies at 76-54. Dodgers at 74-57. Weird weekend. Padres got some revenge. They won the series over the weekend in San Diego after the Dodgers swept them the week before. But Dodgers had an overall good week, so keeps them in first place there. Wild card spots: Cubs 76-55, Padres 74-57, Mets are 69-61. A game and a half behind the Mets are the Reds, Bob at 68. Diamondbacks are back in the conversation, 5.5 games back at 64-67. Again, they trade away a good amount of guys at trade deadline, but they said the young players came here to win, so they're going to do anything they can to stay in that conversation.
And they're doing it. They're playing good ball.
Cardinals fell off the map a little bit, 64-67, 5.5 games back, along with the Diamondbacks there. And Giants are 6.5 games back with 63 wins, and that's for the last wild card spot for the record. So, again, we're at the point where we're seeing the separation between the boys and the men in this season of Major League Baseball. So, like, mentally we're looking and we're like, Tigers, probably a lock right now, you know.
What are the Tigers up? 11 games, 12 games over the Royals?
Let me 10.5.
10.5?
10.5 there. I would say Brewers are probably a lock, and Phillies and Dodgers in some way are going to be a lock too. Maybe not just as the division because there's still a month of baseball left, and that's why I'm not saying I'm not writing off the Blue Jays, but there's still so much baseball left. You have the Red Sox and Yankees creeping up behind. Somebody could take that division last second. Same thing with the Astros right now. And then in the National League, like if the Dodgers don't win the division, they're still going to take a wild card spot. It's been the story all year. I would say same thing with the Phillies and the Mets. With the Brewers, I mean, we'll see what the Cubs. I mean, Cubs have gone a roller coaster all year long. They've done really well for a couple weeks.
Up and down.
Yeah, exactly. Then they'll dip again, and then you have the Reds keeping up with everybody there. So the NL Central.
I mean, Terry's got those guys playing good down there in Cincinnati.
They are playing very well right now. And I would say,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you would have asked me at this time of year if the Reds had any chance of making the playoffs, I would have said no.
Yeah, you would have, because I was the one that said don't overestimate the Reds.
Yeah, I'm the one that didn't even pick them.
There you go. But I will tell you, out of the teams chasing the last wild card spot, I think it's the Reds and nobody else. That's my pick. Because look, I'll give the Diamondbacks credit. The issue is they are almost in sort of a rebuilding mode. There's some pieces they still have left from that World Series appearance roster they had a couple of years ago. There's a couple prospects that they have that are very good and will be with them long term that can make an impact now. But I'm seeing Diamondbacks, Colonels, and Giants starting to dip a bit because, again, it's similar to with the guards. There's issues there that did not get addressed at trade deadline, so now it's coming back to haunt them. You know, where Reds are a little bit more of a complete team and are going to compete for that final spot there. But as far as like other teams go, you were talking about you think it's over, Bob. We'll see. But as far as teams that think it's over, I think Angels, forget about it.
Well, I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying they're going to have to really, really fight to get to that last spot.
Absolutely, and the bats are going to have to come alive.
I just don't think they have the bats.
Right.
You know, I mean, they're still leading the major leagues. We're talking the Guardians,
right?
Major leagues with runners left in scoring position.
Right.
You know, they leave too many guys in scoring position. They're not bringing them in.
Right. And that's you can't do that in the playoffs. You can't do that. Try to chase a playoff spot. You have to get as many runs as you can and beat these teams here. I think the only question outside the playoffs is Colorado Rockies. Will they lose game 100 this week? They're at 94 right now, so it's potential. But so get to 100 losses before September. That's going to look rough there. White Sox in the American League are the worst in the AL at 83 losses. So they're probably looking at another 100-loss season, but it's not going to happen this week. Yeah. So it'll be interesting there. So
you got like 30 games left, 34 games left, I think.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, we got to take a break. When we come back, guys, we're going to be making college football predictions for the first time this year. I'm looking very forward to this. We'll talk about the teams that did play over this past week. Zips, Buckeyes, both play this week. What do we think about that and more? Stay tuned. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 10 Sip Beer Night here at FifthDimensionRadio.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
And, you know, we've been excited about all this high school sports action that we kind of forgot that college football action started technically this past weekend. Just not a ton of games, a few games. The one game I will mention, because we mentioned mainly because there's so many college football teams. We can't
I didn't even know there was games going on this weekend.
Yeah. Nothing big. There was a matchup with two ranked teams, and one's going to be probably not as far down. It may not be ranked anymore. I don't know. But Iowa State did, number 22, beat number 17 Kansas State at Kansas State, 24-21 there. And that's always a good matchup between those two teams there. Let me see if Right now, until everybody else plays, they're still number 17 in the nation. But Iowa State's been building a lot of great prospects throughout the years. A solid program.
The Cyclones.
Exactly.
We seen them a couple years ago. Remember at Akron? Akron played them.
Yep, with David Montgomery, he's now the running back for the Lions.
Yep.
He torched us. It was pretty bad. But the Iowa people were extremely nice, and I think the biggest compliment we got was, "You guys sell beer everywhere here." and I said, "You don't?" And he goes, "There's one stand at the end of one of the end zones, and they said they closed it off by halftime." And he said, "There's a long line the entire game." He said, "But here, every stand's got beer."
Yep.
And he goes, "And you guys have it."
Because I remember years ago that wasn't the case.
No. And they did say how overall affordable it was compared to their prices. And they did say they liked the bars around the stadium too. So we had a compliment that Akron serves some great alcohol for these Iowa people. And of course, they're all smiles because their team's whooping us. But that was a whole other story there. But
yeah, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into we're going to fast forward. We're going to talk about
we got a big,
the Mid-American here.
We got a big game coming up Thursday night.
Yes, we do. So let's get talking about that. We'll start with the MAC here, and actually that's one of the first games. Actually, we'll mention the first. A lot of games going on Thursday night, 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. We have I don't even know who Lafayette versus Bowling Green at Bowling Green. So watch out for that. Bowling Green are 14.5-point favorites in that one. 6 p.m. on Big Ten Network. Defending MAC champions Ohio U will play Rutgers, and Rutgers are 14.5-point favorites. You have at 8 p.m. out of Fox Sports. Oh, excuse me. I skipped our game. 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Wyoming comes to Akron.
The Cowboys.
There you go. Yeah, so Wyoming, a pretty solid name. Obviously, not too big, not too small. They are favored by 7 points compared to Akron, which they will take. I mean,
we'll take 7 points.
Right.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to take the 7 points. I don't gamble. I'm sorry.
There you go. Akron, it's going to be interesting this year. I mean, first of all, there's not much to play for because they got suspended for the MAC championship.
That's what's going to hurt.
Right.
I mean, even if we had a good season, even if we win 6 games, we're not going to. You know, if we win the MAC championship, if the championship game, the MAC champion goes to the Motor City Bowl.
Right.
Do we get to go to the Motor City Bowl?
They don't get to play the MAC championship game. If they are eligible, if they even... Okay,
why wouldn't they be able to play? I mean, it's not a bowl game. It's a MAC championship.
It's a postseason game. When that suspension was handed, that was the first thing mentioned. So they could go undefeated in the MAC and still not attend the MAC championship game. So that's the messed up part about everything. And again, we are talking about a team that only won 4 games last year. Moorhead does need to prove himself more here, pun intended. But it'll be interesting. I'm anticipating the starting quarterback. I don't have his name in front of me right now, but it's the kid. He came from transfer from Syracuse. He was Kyle McCord's backup. Let me see.
That hurts.
Yeah. I'll pull this up there. Let me see. Oh, they got last year's on this app. Never mind. That's not going to tell me it. But anyway, so they did get a transfer, good quarterback transfer late. They did get some good transfer. Running back out of LSU, running back out of Michigan State. They got a safety out of South Carolina, Penn State. Excuse me. They did get somebody out of South Carolina too. They got a safety from Kent State that transferred over. So they did get a lot of good transfers in. Some decent offensive line, defensive line freshmen on top of recruits there. But it's going to be interesting because like they have some talent on paper. They have to just turn this into a winning program, though. And this is a big year for Moorhead there. So we'll be down there against Wyoming, 7 o'clock. Looking very forward to that. I'm excited. Despite how the past couple of years have gone, I'm excited to have Zips football back just to get that. And I love the night games. I don't even care if it's the Thursday night. I love the weekday night games there in Akron. It's just good, especially late in the season when it's cold and you get the whole football experience there. Because I know this week, 70 degrees most of it, but it's supposed to dip into the cooler temperature, like 55 degrees at night. So we get this happens in Ohio for anybody that's watching, listening, and doesn't know. This happens all the time. We'll get a big fall tease week, get all the fall people, except the people that prefer fall out of all the other seasons, and then we're back to the 80s next week, and then they get all upset and mad, and it turns into a whole thing. But
yeah, I like the night games.
Yeah. It should be fun there. 8 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, Buffalo at Minnesota. Minnesota are 18.5 favorites there. 9 p.m. on Big Ten Network, Miami of Ohio will take on Wisconsin in Wisconsin, the alma mater of Joe Thomas there, and Wisconsin is favored by 17 points. On Friday, August 29th at 7 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, Western Michigan at Michigan State. Michigan State, 20.5-point favorites there. That should be a blowout there. Maybe we'll see. There's always that upset. We did have.
Is this the last year that Western Michigan's going to be in the MAC? I know one of the Michigan teams are leaving the MAC. I can't remember.
No, I think they're safe. You're thinking of the team I was just about to mention that beat Notre Dame last year because there was an upset. God, Illinois. Out of Illinois.
Northern Illinois. Yeah. I knew it was one of the...
They're leaving the MAC. Yeah, the only team that was in Ohio State to beat Notre Dame last year. They went to the championship. So, you never know. You never know with these games here at the MAC. 10:30 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 on Friday. Central Michigan will be at San Jose State. San Jose predicted to favored by 11.5 favorites, and that's an 86-degree day at California. You have Saturday, August 30th, noon on ESPN+. You have Merrimack at Kent State. Get this, ESPN ranked Kent State the worst football program going into the season. Kent is favored in this game, 6.5 points. And then it gets interesting. I sent this to our Zips group over the weekend, Bob, and
I was going to mention that. Go ahead.
September 8th. After the first three games of the season, before they play their bigger teams, Kent State is holding tryouts.
Open tryouts.
Walk-on tryouts for their football team. And I'm going, why is this happening then, not before? And is it because they're afraid of the injuries that might be produced by Florida State and Oklahoma, who they are playing later in the season? And I just find it absolutely crazy. It's happening. It's like, are you hearing that? And they are in a weird position. Like they're under a new coach. They had to let the other one go. There was some issues there, some internal issues. We'll hear out more when more information comes out. But Kent State's just in a bad position right now. But they are predicted to win their first game, so we'll see what happens there. Noon on the Big Ten Network, Ball State versus Purdue in Indiana. They're 17.5-point favorites for Purdue. 12:45 p.m. on SEC Network, Toledo will take on University of Kentucky. Kentucky's only 7.5-point favorites here, so this might be a good one for Toledo. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN+. Temple will be at UMass. And remember, UMass is now in the MAC.
No, the Mid-American Conference.
So that's why they're on our list here. Temple, I think Temple were they in the MAC for a minute there?
They were in for a year or two. They wasn't in very long.
So this will be a good one.
They're in the Big East now.
Right. Temple's 2.5-point favorites there against UMass. So welcome to the MAC, UMass there. And UMass will be playing, I think, Akron at a point in time this season. I'm going by memory here. If it's not Akron, it's Kent State, whoever.
I think it's over. It's Akron's playing them at Massachusetts.
There you go. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Plus, they're still listed in the MAC right now because this will be their last year. But Holy will be at Northern Illinois. They don't actually have a spread for that one, but I anticipate Northern Illinois is the favorite there. ESPN Plus will also carry at 8 p.m. on Saturday. Eastern Michigan at Texas State. Texas State 14-point favorites there. So that's your Mid-American.
Look, I'll show you right there. The Mid-American Conference. Look how many of the big schools that the Mid-American Conference is playing.
Right.
Of the Division I, NCAA Division I schools, the Michigans, the Michigan States, the MAC ain't afraid to play anybody.
No, they're not. Moving ahead to the Big Ten, and what they have for Thursday night's game. We mentioned Rutgers, Minnesota. in Wisconsin already playing MAC schools. The other one at 9 p.m. on ESPN will be Nebraska at Cincinnati, and Nebraska is 6.5 favorites there. Matt Rule trying to turn that program around. They had a decent season last year, so they're taking the next step forward here. Friday's games, we mentioned Michigan State with Western Michigan, 7:30 p.m. at Peacock. Western Illinois will play Iowa. Western Illinois will play Illinois. Illinois is 12th in the nation. They're expected to be solid this year. There's no spread listed on that one, but I anticipate Illinois is going to be the favorites in that one. Saturday, August 30th. This is so wrong, but it is what it is. Number 1, Texas will be at number 3, Ohio State at noon on Fox.
That should be prime time.
Yes.
That should be Saturday night prime time, 8 o'clock.
Ohio State's a 1.5 favorite right now. Here's the thing. You have Arch Manning coming in to play Julian Sayin, 2 big-time quarterback prospects. Julian Sayin looking to be the first quarterback to make his debut against the number 1 school and win. That's never happened before in NCAA history. So he's got the weapons. He's got the defense. Can he do it? And
I just can't believe that they don't put this game prime time.
The excuses I'm hearing, Bob, is they think one team's going to blow out the other. But I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a good game there. So, others in the Big Ten on Saturday, August 30th. Big Ten Network at noon. You have Florida Atlantic against Maryland.
The murder.
Maryland's predicted to be 14.5-point favorites. I mentioned the Purdue game. Northwestern at Tulane, and that's at noon on ESPN. Tulane is 5.5-point favorites. We'll talk about here in a little bit, but a Tulane player that went undrafted just made the Browns roster, so we'll talk about that. 2:30 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, you have Old Dominion, and we saw that name a couple times last year on our Big Ten and our MAC radar, will be at number 20, Indiana, and Indiana is predicted to be 22.5 favorites there. You have 3:30 p.m. on CBS and Paramount Plus, Nevada at number 2, Penn State. Penn State moved up to number 2 there. I don't know how that Ohio State was number 2. However that worked.
Yeah, it was Ohio State was number 2, and then Texas was number 1.
It is what it is. Now, I mean, as long as you're in that top
12 or
top
16.
12, yeah,
whatever it is.
Top 12 there, you're going to make the playoff there. Still very early to talk about that, but Penn State's 44.5 favorites in that one. So Penn State's supposed to roll. Kid out of Medina at the starting quarterback there. 4 p.m. at the Big Ten Network, you have Montana State at number 7, Oregon. No spread listed, but I anticipate Oregon's
Or going to kill them.
We're talking 50-point spread, I would guess. 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, Alabama. No, hold on. This is specifically not Albany. Excuse me.
Albany.
Oh my gosh, Albany.
Albany of New York.
Albany.
The College of Albany.
At Iowa.
Been there.
Iowa is 37.5 favorites there.
No, but Albany's going to win that game.
He has Albany winning that game.
No, Albany's going to win it because they're going to give probably at least $2 million.
On NBC at 7:30 p.m. Yes, NBC is going to show more college football games this year. New Mexico at number 14, the team up north. 34.5 favorites is that team in blue. 7:30 p.m. on Big Ten Network, you're going to have Missouri State at USC. USC are 35-point favorites. 11 p.m. on Fox, and this is where we get into the deeper West Coast games here. Utah at UCLA. And the Bruins are predicted the underdog at 6.5 points. So Utah's predicted to be. Yeah. But UCLA's a rebuilding program, but they did decent last year. 11 p.m. on Big Ten Network, you have Colorado State at Washington, and Washington are 21.5 favorites. So there's your lowdown on the MAC and Big Ten. And it's good to announce those again. I'm very looking forward to some good college football this week. Other games in the Big 25 to look out for outside of what we said. There's a lot of teams that they're probably going to kill each other. But number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson, that's going to be a good one. And Clemson's 3.5-point favorites in that one there. So that's and then Sunday night. Remember, there's some Sunday games before the NFL kicks off in a couple weeks. 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Number 6 Notre Dame at number 10 Miami.
That should be a good game.
Notre Dame's 2.5 favorites there. So those are 2 top 25 matchups outside of our conferences we usually cover here to look out for. So I mean, some good games there. And then of course Texas and Ohio State. That's going to be the other one.
I'll tell you what. I think Ohio State will take the game, but it's going to be close. It ain't going to be no blowout like these people think they're going to be. One team's going to blow out the other one. It ain't going to be a blowout. This is going to be a good game.
You have Arch Manning, coming from the Manning family, did some decent work last year. Nothing mind blowing. He takes the helm for sure because last year was between him and Quinn Ewers, rotated, especially against the smaller schools. They had Arch play, so save Ewers for later, which took him to the semifinals.
Now, how is he related? Is he the grandson of Archie Manning?
Yes, he is. He's the nephew of Peyton and Eli. It was the third brother that didn't go pro. It's his son.
Okay.
So that's Arch. Yeah, so that's Arch. So yes.
I was trying to figure that out because Archie, I know he's Archie, of course, Arch Manning of the old Saints days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be his grandfather because he can have a kid probably 70, 80 years old.
Right. There was rumors about Browns targeting him next draft. The family, even Archie came out, and I'm talking about his grandfather, came out and said he is not going next year's draft. He's going to take at least 1 year, if not 2. So he might stay for a senior season because they have a plan for him. The family and the university.
Well, when you got three of the best quarterbacks ever in the NFL giving you advice, take it.
Eli's probably going to the Hall of Fame. He's eligible. We
know Archie. We know Peyton's in the Hall of Fame. We know Eli's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Archie's in the Hall.
Archie's in the Hall of Fame. Take the advice. Stay if they tell you to stay.
Right. And then so there's because people are like, well, he would fit on the Saints. Well, Saints are expected to pick their quarterback next year. The team that could enter the conversation, Bob, is Colts are pulling the plug on their 4th overall pick from a couple years ago. And they might stick Daniel Jones in there for a couple of years, see what happens, and I would not be surprised if Arch is on their radar, just because their success they had with his uncle. But you have Julian Sayin for Ohio State, hard-throwing, pro-ready arm already, was top QB prospect a couple of years ago, recruited by Nick Saban in Alabama, but when Saban retired, he transferred to Ohio State, and he sat and learned under Will Howard last year. He didn't get an ego. He didn't say, put me in right away. He was willing to listen to Ryan Day, redshirt him, they redshirted him, and he practiced and watched with the team, and he beat his other teammates out for this position. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table there. So we got to take a break. When we come back, Browns go perfect in preseason. They're cutting down their roster, and we do have a little bit of Cavs news to share too, so we're going to talk about that and more. Stay tuned. And welcome back to 10 Set Beer Night, our final segment of August 2025. But there's so much still to go on in sports with fall baseball, football,
and we got University of Akron soccer starting up too.
Yes, they are. Yeah, and we're ready for that one too, and see another exciting season of soccer. Akron is so competitive, always a top team to watch.
They're always one of the top teams in the country.
Right. So looking forward to that, seeing what they can bring in the Big East there, and I mean they've competed very well since joining the Big East. It's been a lot of fun. A lot of big-name schools coming to Akron and playing. Been bittersweet for the Zips, absolutely. So looking forward to that. But fall's creeping up on us, which also means that a little bit later we'll have basketball. Like it'll be here before you know it. I know that's not the prime focus when football's just around the corner here. We still have one roster spot left for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And while, we've heard the Kevin Love rumors, we've heard other kinds of rumors, and Altman does most of his moves in some of his bigger moves in August, I'm not expecting a big shakeup. There was one name that came out yesterday as far as what they checked in, and that was Malik Beasley, who's a free agent and was in the running for Sixth Man of the Year this past year. Guy averaged 16.5 points for the Detroit Pistons. A great 3-and-D guy, one of the better three-point shooters in the game. He was looking for a 3-year, like $60 million contract there, but originally. Well, then he got investigated for gambling, and it sounds like he's innocent, but now his
gambling in basketball, I can see it in baseball.
It's happened in basketball. They've caught a couple.
We got hammered in baseball this year.
One guy got caught, Bob, recently. He was with the Toronto Raptors. He was a guy up and down in their G League. He was one of the most gambled guys on as far as the spread of points, minutes, and everything. And all these people were winning money on him, and they couldn't figure it out. And so they looked into it because they said, this is weird. Why, out of everybody, why is people putting bets on him and they're winning? Turned out they were his buddies, and he knew what he was going to do that night, so he did just enough to everybody was winning money.
You know, Seth, we talked about this a while back. It's
Right.
been a while about when they legalized this gambling stuff, that this was going to happen,
Right,
and we're seeing more and more of it now.
right. It's,
You know, they legalized this gambling by, you know, you can go on your phone and you can do it on the computer and stuff like that. I can understand if you can just go to the sports book at the casino or something like that and bet on it, but when you can do it right on your phone now, it's made a lot easier. And that we got two Guardian pitchers, pitchers, both of them pitchers.
Yeah.
You know, but for some reason this happened to them.
Right.
You know, and that part of gambling's always going to be in sports. It always has been in sports and always will be in sports. But they just made it a lot easier now.
Right.
So,
well, gambling in general, we have casinos. I'm not going to name
you got
names.
these. I'm not going to name any of the big gambling firms out there, but they're advertising on TV. They're advertising here. They're advertising there. You can go here. You can go there. You can go on our website. You know, and ever since this gambling, I don't know how it's going to stop.
Right.
I don't know how it's going to stop.
Right.
I mean, you can put penalties all you want on these players, but they're not going to. They're still going to do it.
Right. And you're talking about how easily accessible it is. Even some of the casinos around here have their own apps and their own slot machines within the phone, and it goes to their credit. So they don't even have to show up to the casino if they can't. So, it's a very interesting world we've lived in since the past 10 years. And I know the sports has come in, but in Ohio, gambling came in about 10 or so years ago. And how much is great. And I'm not against anybody gambling. That's your money, your business, but it has impacted our sports in a negative way. And even Tony Romo, CBS announcer, former Cowboys quarterback, was talking about he blamed gambling on why the refs' biasness are so obvious in some of these calls there. And it needs to get caught. And you know it's bad when we have national-wide memes on social media making fun of the Chiefs and the refs. You're not hiding anything there. And then the most fair call game against the Chiefs. I was not against, but a game the Chiefs played, they lost, big time. And it just makes you wonder a little bit.
I know.
So you know. But going back to Beasley,
Yeah.
This is a good player. He's they're saying there's no evidence that he did anything wrong. Both the Knicks and Cavs have checked in on him, and Cavs won almost trade for him a couple times a few years ago. I mean, it's still a young player, and like I said, he's got a great three-point shot. He's solid on defense. He fits it. The question is, I think a lot of people, including myself, were hoping for another big man or a Kevin Love to come in, and this is going to be another guard. So it's while he fits and I like it, it's like, is there anything you can do to bring in another big man to take another roster spot, make it a trade or something? I don't know who they would get rid of, but I'm not against Beasley. I think it'd be a good addition, but I was really hoping get another big in there. You know, it does sound like, Bob, if they do bring in Beasley, Dean Wade is safe, because that would be one of the bigs they would put in down low, for at least that power forward there. But that's the latest with the Cavs there. I did get my Cavs tickets. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun year. Promotion schedule has not come out, but a lot of people are saying that expect them and the Knicks to battle out for the top team of the East. 2K26 ratings did come out. they overall did the Cavs well. Donovan Mitchell was a 93 rating, the 11th best player in the game. Evan Mobley bumped up to 89. Garland got about 87. I think that's a slight bump to where he was last year. Allen stays around the 84 range, so that's what I heard rumors about Mobley bumping up to 92, which would have been great to have Cavs have two 90s players in the game. I know you don't play the video game, Bob, but it's the most realistic basketball video game we have. So, the fact they give the Cavs a little more love this year, because last year they really didn't do much, it's a good look for the Cavs. Again, Mitchell's the 11th best player in the game there. Moving our focus to the Cleveland Browns. They go 3-0 in the preseason. Last time they went undefeated in the preseason, they went 0-16.
0-16.
So let's hope that doesn't happen here. They have made some roster cuts. No surprises. It's pretty much straightforward. Tyler Huntley did get cut as expected. He did lead the game. He did lead the game-winning drive there. A lot of people had some nasty things to say about Shedeur not staying in there, but it's like at the same time, you gotta understand, ladies and gentlemen, it's this preseason game. That Huntley did a lot for them in the past couple weeks. They want to give him one more rep to because he's going to get cut. So it's for another team to look at him. I know Stefanski and Barry both like Huntley a lot, but he's just not in the future plans. As far as Shedeur goes, look, the offensive line he was around, they were trying to make the team too. They didn't. I don't think any of them did. But they had to go out and play. They had to put him out there and play. Shedeur, it wasn't good. It wasn't the worst thing we've ever seen either. It is what it is. When you saw Shedeur with the second string in that first preseason game, that's where you got a better look at Shedeur right there. Because he played against some good defense. Some of the starts against Carolina. He kept his poise. He played very well. Dylan Gabriel, I felt, played better against the Rams than he did against the Eagles. But at the same time, it's like, look, neither of these guys should be playing this year. Flacco should be healthy and should be the guy. That's how I look at it. These guys were not actually in the race to be the starter, I don't think, personally. And it is what people are making this too big deal. But here's the bottom line. All four quarterbacks are going to be on the roster. They're going to be working individually with Gabriel and Shedeur to polish them, help with their production.
I mean, you got two good veterans, working with two rookies, So, because
right.
I'm surprised. My surprise is they're keeping four quarterbacks. That's what I'm surprised at. And really, if you want to think about it, there's five.
Because of Watson. And we'll see what happens. And there was an article written by Sports Illustrated recently that said, if Watson's healthy enough to play, this is going to put a wrench in everything. They're going to have to they have to put him on the roster if he's healthy. They can't put him on IR. And if they cut him, it's going to cost them $131 million going into next year. Now, here's my opinion. Let's pretend Watson is ready to play. Pickett's getting traded. Watson's going to be the new number 4. They're not going to rush him to play because he's not healthy enough. He didn't get any reps.
Why would you keep a guy that's you owe him $100-some million as your fourth quarterback?
Technically, he'll be $45 million this year, but if they cut him in a week,
$45 million is a backup.
Yeah, but what's he going to do? I mean, we saw how it happened last year. He set us up for the losing season. He did. I mean, here's the messed up part. I was breaking down some statistics last year. Despite how bad he came out and looked, that was his most yardage and best average yardage he threw in a Browns uniform.
Well, see if you can try to trade the guy if he's healthy.
There's that too.
Take what you can get and take the loss. Right. I mean, if you can get him for sell him for $60 million, take the $60 million loss.
Right.
Well, so that's a Haslam doing.
So we'll find out soon. I mean, if he's not ready, and he's been on the sidelines the entire time.
I mean, he's getting paid guaranteed money.
I know.
To sit there doing nothing.
I know. It's a mess. It's a mess they put on themselves. But he has been with the team the entire time. He was he was at every preseason game, hanging around the quarterbacks, talking to Flacco and Gabriel and all of them.
He was at every preseason game?
He was at every.
Well, at least he showed up for them.
Yeah.
Didn't show up for any of the games last year.
Right, correct. So we'll see what happens there. A quick update on Quinshon Judkins, the second-round pick out of Ohio State that, he got in trouble about a few weeks ago and has not even had a contract and hasn't had any reps with the team yet. He's expected to join the team soon. Things are expected to get figured out. He might get an exemption there, given the situation, so his roster spot's saved. But I don't see him playing week 1 as of now, even though he's healthy.
Was he still working out and stuff?
I don't know. I can't.
He might not be ready for a couple weeks.
Right. So we'll see what happens there. So you have Jerome Ford, you have Dylan Sampson. Pierre Strong had a solid preseason. I am expecting him to make the roster, which again would mean 4 running backs, which is not uncommon, and we could have brought who back, but that's okay.
Well.
That is what it is there. So we'll figure out that situation. But as far as cuts and everything go,
any big names cuts?
No, there hasn't really been there. We do want to congratulate. I'm going to pull up his name there. Defensive tackle. I told you there's a defensive tackle out of Tulane, Aiden Hutchinson. He was undrafted. I want to make sure I get this right here. Not played for Tulane University. This is a different one here. But defensive tackle, he went undrafted. Stefanski announced at the end of the game that because he had a great game against the Rams, he did make the team. Barry gave him permission and said, tell him out publicly he has made the team. So they got one undrafted free agent made it impressive enough to make the team there.
So he was invited to camp and
He played all preseason games.
did a good job.
Aiden Huntington, excuse me. That's his name. So that threw me off there.
It goes to show you, just because you didn't get drafted, don't mean you still don't have a chance.
Absolutely, and that's yeah.
So I tell the baseball kids, if you don't get drafted, at least go to the tryout camps.
Right.
You ain't being. Everybody can't see you.
Right.
Get out to the tryout camps. Show your. Somebody's going to see it them.
Yeah, he can play D and D tackle in the 3 preseason games. 7 tackles. This is a guy that plays 3rd, 4th string. 2.5 sacks and 1 forced fumble. So he got to the quarterback fast. So this was somebody they said, and I remember when they picked him up shortly after the draft, they said there was things they liked about him. They wanted to give him a chance, and well, he earned it. So we'll see how much playing time. I won't expect anything off the bat.
I think he'll get some playing time. It just ain't going to be.
He'll be part of the rotation somewhere, especially with Michael Hall still healing up there.
I'm just glad to see the kid make it.
Yeah. As far as MAC kids for the Browns, we did Finney Jr. out of Bowling Green, Camden McKinley kid. He did get some good reps in the last preseason game and caught a touchdown from Joe Flacco, so that was cool. His mom was screaming. Everybody was happy. The whole Canton family was there. They are just absolutely floored that the Browns picked him, and I think he's a great addition. So he did get to play. Cade McDonald, tight end that came out of Miami of Ohio, took a big hit, got a concussion. I was really hoping he might make – and he still could. He might join the Kent State kid on the injury list because he's on the Flora.
Did the Finney kid make it? Did he get cut?
The Kent State kid?
No, Bowling Green kid.
He got drafted by 3rd round. Yeah, he's on the team. He got his spot.
I thought you said he got cut.
No.
Why would you cut him?
The other tight end,
okay.
Cade McDonald, Miami, Ohio.
All right.
His name I didn't see on the list, but he could join the practice squad when he gets healthy because I know they were high on him. But so most of their MAC guys they picked up got a solid chance. I think there was one MAC kid that got cut. I'm going by memory here. But, I liked Cade McDonald. I thought he would fit well in that tight end room because Stefanski likes a big tight end room. And when you have Njoku, Finney Jr., and then Whitehurst and how well they've all been playing, I thought he would be a good fit too. And, again, he could be on the practice squad, but he did take a knock, so they could sit him for a while, put him on the injured list, and no rush there to bring him back. But I know he was playing hard. I know Flacco liked throwing to him too, so that's a guy to watch out for here. But yeah, as far as other cuts go, at this point in time, by the time you hear this, things might be a little bit different. But no, I mean, I would say as far as this preseason goes, I think the big thing I liked was the defense, especially the pressure from the D-line. It was crazy. It was absolutely bananas there. How much pressure they put on all three teams. And you're talking about a Rams team that's well coached by McVay. You're talking about the defending champ Philadelphia Eagles. I get it. It wasn't the first team squad, but still some of these youngsters and how well they looked and contained.
If I watched the Philadelphia. I didn't get to watch the Rams game because I'd tell you the truth. I didn't even know it on. We were talking on the phone. You said you were watching the game. Right. But I thought everybody looked pretty good against Philadelphia.
Right. They just need the defensive backs too.
I mean, it's only exhibition, but they look good.
Right.
But I'm not typical Browns. I'm not getting my hopes up.
No. Linebacker crew could use another body. We'll find out. We were talking about Quinshon Judkins getting in trouble. We'll see what happens with Michael Bush there, the former team up north and first-round pick of Pittsburgh, who played very well for the Browns last year. He got in some trouble in February, and so there's supposed to be a court date, and the NFL's looking at that too. Until then, he's allowed to play, but we'll see if there's going to be a suspension later on. But other than that, Browns look good. We no more preseason football this week. It's going to be practice and the final cuts and everything for all the NFL teams. So we need everybody healthy, and we need everybody to protect Joe Flacco. It's going to be the only way we're going to win these games here. And so Flacco, since his rookie season 17 years ago, hard to believe, he will be the starter opening week against the Bengals. So this has happened before. And he gave the Bengals a rough time in his rookie debut. So
now, is that in Cleveland?
That is in Cleveland. And
that's in 2 weeks.
That's in 2 weeks there. So we got to wrap it up. We're out of time. Next week we'll talk about where the guards are at. We will talk about the Stowe-Barberton game, the results there. We will do our NFL preview, and then we'll talk about Akron and Ohio State, how they panned out, along with the rest of the MAC and the Big Ten on week 1 of college football. So much to talk about. I'm looking very forward to it. After a crazy good summer of everything we've seen, it just gets better and better. So, all that being said, I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
We will see you in September. Until then, go Guards.
Go Zips.
Go Ducks.